Alrighty, everybody. Hello, hello. I hope all is well. For those of you who are here, we will give a few minutes to let some more people hop on this live session. And also, if anybody would have any questions at any point in time or anything you'd like to mention, there is a comment section which one can write in, and more than happy to review some of those questions later once we do finish this demo. Now, just to kind of preface with the idea as to what we are doing here. So we are going to have, let's say, monthly webinars in relation to Safetica Next so that we can be showing our, let's say, new features, updates, and things along these lines that we are doing within Safetica Next. As this is the first session in this, let's say, monthly webinar series, we will be starting this as a standard demonstration of Safetica Next. And naturally, then from here forward, we will be going into the let's say, new features and updates and so on and so forth that we are doing within the product. Now, we are doing these updates every 2 weeks for Safetica Next. So there are new features or fixes and so on and so forth every 2 weeks for Safetica Next. But again, the webinar series will be a monthly series. So let me just go back to this main dashboard here, and yeah, we'll just get going then. So for those of you who are familiar with Safetica Next, some of this might be a bit repetitive, but again, we will be treating this as a standard demo for, let's say, somebody who has never seen the solution before. And also, before going into the product, I just would like to introduce myself. My name is John. I am the Territory Sales Manager for North America at Safetica. And again, today we will be doing a demonstration of Safetica Next as the first installment in our monthly webinar series. So now in Safetica Next, this is the main dashboard. This is what either, let's say, a client, an end client who is using the product will see once they log in, or also if you are a partner or managed service provider or something along these lines, this is the client tenant. There is another let's say, area of Safetica Next, which is to manage the clients, but we will not be going into that today. We will be purely just sticking within this product section of Safetica Next. So firstly, we can see on the left-hand side of the screen here, we have a analyze section as well as a manage section. And we can also see that we have the dashboard, data security, shadow IT, and user behavior. And then under the manage, we have destinations protection, data classification, and devices. And then finally, we have the settings tab down here. And then you have the account information up here. Now, starting on the main dashboard, we can see here's the client name that I'm within right now. This is a demo environment, which we have created. What that means is it is pre-populated with data. So it looks as if it is a standard environment. So you can kind of get an idea as to look and feel of how it would be working in practice. So we can see on the top left-hand side here, we start with the security issues. We have the unconfirmed high-risk events. Now, if we click into this, it will give us an overview as to what events may have been happening recently, which are, let's say, quote unquote, unconfirmed. What that means is you can go down into these events here and we can open this up and we can either look inside of this, let's say, action, which had happened. We can see there were potential high-risk files, not necessarily sensitive content found, but something else which had triggered it. So we can go into the risk analysis. We can see that there were some CAD files sent to a destination, which is why that was picked up, because we do have a test policy for any CAD files being sent. And yeah, and then also if we go into the all files, naturally we can go through here and see all of the files in question, which then were in that transfer. So again, what we would want to do if we do believe this is high risk, we can confirm this is a high risk event, or we can basically change it to no risk. This will help as the product does have some machine learning built into it. So if it does see other actions similar to this, then it will flag that as high, and it just helps you in the long run to help the product understand what is a high risk and what may not be. So let's go back to the dashboard now. And once we are here, the next thing we can look at are the high-risk users. So if we click into this, I don't know why that showed up, but it looks like everything's working. So we can see that there are some, let's say, users which are more risky than others. We can see this one here. He's had 2 suspicious events recently, and we can click into this, and we can just see that naturally, yeah, they are above average in terms of the suspicious events which are happening. And we can also look into the user behavior of this individual, see what their working time is when they are doing some activities. And it looks like this user is marked as suspicious because they are doing some, let's say, file movements outside of their regular activity time. We can see it looks like this one's like 5 in the morning or something like that. And then this one is nearly at midnight. So naturally, that is a bit suspicious and probably should be looked into further. And on the right-hand side here, we can see the list of applications as well as websites which are being used. First off, we can see that looks like somebody's using Minecraft as on their work machine. Not exactly something that most probably would want folks to be doing while they're at work. So that's good to have that information here. We'll go more into, let's say, this analysis section in the Shadow IT section of things, as well as the user behavior. We'll give you a bit more info on that than in there. So let's go back to the dashboard again. And from this point, then we can see devices with issues. Also, let's click into that. And we can see then that there's a specific endpoint here, which is saying does not communicate. There can be many reasons for this. And naturally, if you are having any issues with the solution, we do have our knowledge base, which is very helpful for looking up any sort of these informations. You can simply just search Safetica knowledge base and you should find the link for that. If you are using Safetica Next, we have a trial of Next. We also have a help icon here, as well as in the main dashboard, we have links to our knowledge base as well, and some other things to read more and learn more. All right, so after going over the sensitive issue area here, now then we have the destinations. So this is in relation to the not the destination type here rather, but it is, let's open that up, into the destinations in the sense of what we have marked as trusted or safe in terms of the environment. So this applies for web, email, and USB devices. Again, I'll touch on that once we start going through this side here, but just wanted to kind of go over the dashboard first. And once we get down to this timeline here, this is the files in time for the last 7 days. If you do want to adjust the period, you can simply go up here and either choose today, 7 days, 30 days, or whichever preset you wish to do. And from this point, let's have a look then at this day, or these events rather. So we can click into here. And once the information loads, then we can see it looks like this individual, Nikki, has 5 high-risk events associated, and there's 192, let's say, files or events which were triggered. And if we want, we can go down through here and look at the events in question. And let's have a look at this one, since it did flag something personal. So we can open this up. We can see it's some sort of a PowerPoint. And if we go into the risk analysis, nothing in the custom, let's say, policies were found, although in the smart analysis, something was found in relation to personal information. And I believe if we do hover over this, we can see it's some sort of an identification number for China. So this is definitely a way to then investigate this further and see what has been going on. And also then we see this here as well, the rule which was triggered and the occurrences that happened as well. But we can see it looks like this one, although underneath the element is showing Turkey. This could just be something how the identification number is set up. But regardless, we can go back here and then, of course, look into any of these other events that we would wish to. But that is just a simple way to show how to look into these events. Now let's go back to that main dashboard. And all right, and let's do the last 7 days again. And here we are. And again, we can look into, for example, this one as well. It should give us some different information opposed to last time. Yeah, so naturally we can see, looks like Nikki was involved again. So that person is probably somebody you would want to look into or speak with and just see what they may be doing. And again, we can see we got something else here with HIT for the personal as well as financial and healthcare when it comes to the data classifications. And again, we will touch on that shortly as well. So let's go back to that main dashboard. Okay. So now that we are here, and let's go over this real quick. So under the quick investigate, we can just kind of have a quick look through here and see maybe what has been triggered or what's going on. So we can see this information here. And once we go over then to the right-hand side here, we can see this is some, let's say, best practices or settings in terms of how to make the most of Safetica Next. Currently in the environment is set to, let's say, a 30% of the way we're using Safetica Next. So you can go through here and click through, and this will help explain as to how to set up Safetica Next further, again, to just get the most out of the product. Now, at the bottom here, this is also some relatively simplistic things here, but we do have, if you would like to get a report, you can click here to generate that. Learning more on Safetica Next, these will bring you to the knowledge base as well as some support links and things along those lines. Also with the Learn What's New, again, as I mentioned at the very beginning of the webinar here, so we are doing releases every 2 weeks. So here is some more information as to the releases and what has been added in those most recent releases. Of course, you can go back as well and look at what we've done historically also. So now that we've gone over the main dashboard, I would like to then go into the data security tab as a whole. And let's just get rid of that filter. So now what we're looking at here, again, this is just for the 1 day. Let's do the 7 days again. And we can see then, all of the, let's say, high risk or let's say medium risk events which had happened recently. Again, as I previously mentioned, if you do want to look further into these things, you just simply click this button here, and then you can look in and you get the information of where it was, where it came from, where it was going, and the user in question, the operation, as well as the extension of said file. And then naturally the risk analysis here, and then the data classifications as well. And again, we can change this to no risk if this is a not risky event that we would like to mark as such, or we can create a new policy in relation to this as well. So that is a quick overview of the events and kind of how to investigate these events and things along those lines. Naturally, if you want to export this event or these events as well to, let's say, look at it in a different fashion, that can be done here. And also, let's say if you're not necessarily looking to see only the high risk or medium risk events or any, let's say, risky events, if you just want to see any and all, let's say, file movements off of the endpoint, now that is in the all events section. And that was actually one quick thing I do want to mention, which I realize I hadn't as of yet. So Safetica Next is a SaaS data loss prevention solution. So this whole environment is hosted within Microsoft Azure. So there's no need for any on-premise infrastructure or anything along those lines. It's as simple as just logging in and you have your environment ready. And there is a agent-based, let's say, system to how this works. So you do install a agent on either, let's say, a Windows machine or a Mac machine to then monitor what is going on that machine, as well as, of course, to block. So now that we have gotten over to the all events section and within data security, now this is more so of auditing than blocking or anything along those lines. So this will simply just show us all of the events which had happened when there was some information leaving the endpoint. That is what Safetica Next is primarily concerned with, is data in motion. So that is what we are seeing here under the all events, whether it's risky or not, gives you an overview as to what's been going on. And naturally, we can see the destination type as well as the file categories, which those are associated with. Now, going then to the Shadow IT section, as I believe we've covered what we need to for the data security. Now, within Shadow IT, so this has been recently renamed. So we had it classically as applications and websites, or websites and applications, one way or the other. And we did rename it to Shadow IT, as that is, let's say, what folks are more so calling these sort of operations as of late. Now, what we are doing within this section is monitoring the usage of either applications and websites, let's say, quote unquote, in the shadows, hence Shadow IT. Now, if we scroll down here a bit, we do see the information as to who's been doing what when it comes to either websites or applications. We can see mostly these things line up. WhatsApp desktop, maybe not. Facebook, potentially we don't necessarily want so many people being on Facebook. And we can see also the activity time is quite high. And so on and so forth. Naturally, one can filter information out here, and also many other sections within Safetica Next. There, generally speaking, are these filter tabs at the top, so you can filter out the results for what you're looking to see. So that's just a quick overview of the Shadow IT section. And let's see. Okay, no, sorry, I was mistaking that for something else. And right, so actually, and let's click on those 7 risky activities actually up here. So we can see it looks like there's something going on for Facebook. Naturally, we don't want folks to be on that. When it comes to this remote desktop, that is something also that we have here labeled as risky, because sometimes some folks can take, let's say, control of the machines using that. And naturally, we have a WeTransfer here, common file share site. Again, that's probably something we don't want people using, because that is a way to get data off of the endpoints, and some other things as well. Looks like some torrent site. As well as, I believe this is a screenshotting application, and then some cloud, let's say, applications as well. So again, just a quick overview into the Shadow IT section and what you can kind of, let's say, do or expect from that. Now, in the user behavior section, this is an area where we'll show you all of your users, and it will have them ranked from most risky to least. Now we can see that this guy is the most risky here, and we can then get more information on that user behavior as we saw before, and just giving us an idea as to when they may be working, what are they doing on their machines. This area, in terms of the, let's say, analysis of this will be expanded further, as well as the Shadow IT section that is also planned on being expanded further to give you more, let's say, insight as to what is going on the machines. So again, just a quick overview of the user behavior side of things. Now, so far, all of this is just purely showing you information as to, let's say, reporting or the incidents which have happened and so on and so forth. Now, in this section, this is where you then begin to kind of create or customize the solution to then, have it do what you're looking to do in terms of blocking things and so on and so forth. So firstly, we can have a look at the destinations. Actually, before we do that, I'll take a quick sip of water. Alrighty. So, right. So in the destination section here, so first off, we do start on web. So we can see we have unassigned, untrusted, as well as safe. So in unassigned, and naturally, these are just websites which we have yet to assign either to trusted or safe. Naturally, once we do have something set into untrusted, we will get the notifications that something is going on with that site. As we saw with Facebook, we did get something that popped up, basically kind of flagging Facebook. So again, simplistic way to kind of show how that works. And then we also have the safe zone here, which is, generally speaking, let's say a company domain or something you may be going to or sharing information via on, let's say, the web. And also, this will help to then block also uploads to certain sites and so on and so forth. Again, if we have like WeTransfer, TikTok, WhatsApp, or Facebook, what have you, the uploading of information to those then is, let's say, restricted because, again, we have this set in the untrusted area. Now, when it comes to emails as well as USB devices, it's all very similar. When it comes to email, naturally, we have the untrusted domains. We don't want information being sent out to these. This is mostly, let's say, job related. So maybe people sending out, I don't know, CVs or resumes or what have you, or, maybe some confidential, let's say, company information, maybe being sent to these folks by whomever. Naturally, we probably don't want that, which is why we have those set in untrusted. And then, of course, here we then have the safe email domains. So we are okay to be sending then emails with some potential sensitive content to these areas. And then, of course, we have those unassigned ones over here, which have yet to be assigned. Same goes with USB devices. Now, in this sense, we have untrusted as to if something is sent to a specifically untrusted device, if somebody plugs in a flash drive into their machine, if it's not company authorized, if it's somebody's personal drive or something like this, then we can just pop that into untrusted, or if it's something that we just don't recognize, pop that into untrusted. And also then for safe, same difference once again. If you do have a company approved drive or something like this, you are looking to save information to, then we put that in the safe location, so we can then save information to there. All right, so that is more or less it for the destinations. Now, for the protection side of things, this is where it does get a bit more interesting as well as a bit more complicated. So for the protection side, this is then where we set or how we tell Safetica Next what to do when it finds certain information. And actually, before we go into protection, it makes more sense to touch on data classification first. So in the data classification section here, we can see that we have all of these, let's say, data categories set. The majority of these here are predefined within Safetica Next. If you do get a trial of Safetica Next, this is what would come up as would be, being able to use when you first have that solution, or rather the solution. And these all can be customized as well. We have the area here to edit these. And rather than doing that, though, I would like to just give a quick example as to how to create one of these and how it can be used in practice. So it is relatively simple. So we can do, for example, I'll just make it easy. I'll do US Social Security numbers because that's generally speaking something you do not want out in the wild. So let's do US SSN, and I'll just copy that and put that over here as well. And now we need to create some sort of a rule or choose something from the library. Now, what we can do here, if we want to customize something ourselves, we can do that. So we can do US SSN once again. Occurrences, this is the threshold that if it finds one or more of these in an email, a document, or what have you, then it will get flagged. Generally speaking, you do want to set this a little bit higher just in case there might be some false positives or something which align. But generally speaking, if there's multiple of these, then there's something going on. So we can choose from predefined algorithms, which we have. We do have quite a few of these, let's say, in this sense. So we can go down. We can see that US Social Security number is already here. So we could just choose that if we wanted. Alternatively, we can also do a keyword. So we can do SSN, for example, as a keyword. And also, if we wanted to do some sort of regular expression, we could also add that here as well. And these would all be combined into one rule for US Social Security numbers. Now, if you don't want to go about it this way, in this, like, say, customized sense, we can not do that. And we can go to the select rules from the library. This is another area where we have lots and lots and lots of information. So let me just scroll down to where it should be. Here we are, Social Security number, United States. So we can save this. And if we go inside, we can then get an idea as to what this is using. So we see it's using that predefined algorithm that we already have in the product, and it's using these keywords. Of course, if you want to then again layer on top a regex or something like this, or some other algorithm you're looking to use, one can do so, not a problem. And also you can then change the occurrences or the threshold here as well. So there's a few different ways of going about it, but let's just leave it like this. And yeah, now we have created a data category specifically in relation to US Social Security numbers. But simply by doing this, we won't get anything out of the product. It might flag things if it sees them, let's say, moving around, but it won't know what to do in the sense if we're looking to block it or something like that. So we can then go into the protection side of things. And again, I'll just add a new policy, and let's just paste that US Social Security number here. We want to have that as high risk. We can choose if we would like to log, notify, or block, but in this case, we definitely want to block. For the file categories, we could choose from some of these predefined, let's say, file types. If you don't want to choose a specific one, that's fine. You can just leave it blank and it will choose all. Now, the data classification, this is where I would then go down to the US Social Security number, check that, and then we go to the destinations. Now, if we're looking to block to go, let's say, specifically traveling to USB devices or, whatever else we do have here, one can do that. Again, if you leave it blank, it will just choose everything. And finally, we have the user groups. Also, that's something I've yet to touch on, but you can create user groups within the solution as well if you want to have different rules for example, let's say C-level, VPs, HR, sales, what have you. Generally speaking, these different departments have different levels of access that they should have to quote unquote sensitive information. So this is where you can specify that. But again, if you don't choose any of them, it will just select all. So we simply just hit save. And there we go. We have this now on the top of our list. So it will be looking out for US Social Security numbers when they are going to be sent anywhere. And if it does find them, then it will then block that action. So just a simplistic way to wanted to show you how to set up, let's say, the policies as well as the data categories within Safetica Next. It is relatively simplistic, but of course you can make it as complicated as you wish as well. As you see there, you can just keep on adding the different, let's say, data categories or things you may be looking out for. So once we did that, so we did touch on things in this area. Also, one other thing I did want to mention, we do also have optical character recognition within the solution as well. So we can look in, let's say, PDFs, images, and things of that nature. So that's definitely helpful as well for a DLP solution. Now, within the device section here, this is just an overview as to all of our devices that we have in the environment. So again, this is a demo environment, so none of this information is real, let's say, but this is how it would look in your system. And we can see we have Windows 10, Windows Server, Windows 11, as well as Mac OS 12 and 11 as well. We do currently support, naturally, Windows as well as Mac. So hence why we have those here. And finally, we can go then into the settings area. This is where you then can add some additional permissions for other individuals in the company if you wish. The email notifications, how you wish to be notified on these things, you can do for any high-risk events, low, medium, what have you, as well as setting up automated weekly reports to be sent. And also then that user group section, what I mentioned briefly just now, this is where then you can manage your user group and add groups, remove groups, again, what have you, and whatever you're looking to do. So yeah, that actually is more or less it for our first webinar and the demonstration of Safetica Next. If anybody would have any questions at all, please feel free to write them in the chat. I'd be more than happy to answer what we can in the next few minutes, and just wait a little bit and see if anything does come in. Additionally, I'll have a look around and see if there's anything that I might have missed, but I do not believe so. But just, yeah, as I had mentioned before, though, with the filtering, again, you can see here, if you're looking just to see specific, let's say, things that have been going on, you can do that. If you want to just only see the USB, for example, here we are. If the click will work, there we go. Just my computer being slow. So now we just see all the destination types going to USB, for example. And yeah, I'm just going back through here, but I believe we did touch on everything we wanted to today. Alrighty, I'm not seeing any questions as of yet, so I will assume that all is good. And of course, if anybody does have any questions on Safetica in general, Safetica Next, or also Safetica One, by all means, feel free to reach out to us, fill out the forms on our website, write us on LinkedIn, whatever works best for you. And also, we do have a free trial of Safetica Next available on our site as well. If you are looking to register, kindly just see the link here on the screen, and you can go register for your free trial today. That is valid for 7 days. Initially, I believe 7 days at least. It might be 10 now. I can't recall off the top of my head. Of course, if you would need to have that prolonged, no problem at all, can do. And naturally, if you would be needing any assistance during the time, we are here to help. Right. Again, thank you all very much for attending our first series of the Safetica Next webinars. And next time around, we'll be going over the new features and updates which have happened within the solution, as well as a bit of what we were doing today, and just take things from there. Alrighty, folks. Again, thank you very much. I really appreciate you hopping on this live demo of Safetica Next today, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Thank you and have a good one.